Philly F.A.M.E. Philly F.A.M.E. Alright, we got Ness in the building, man.
His name Ness no more, it's Lew Phil.
Oh, Lew Phil?
It's Lew Phil, man.
Oh, alright, well, let's get straight to that. Like, what's up with the name change?
Lew Phil is Lew Philadelphia. And then how you feel is how Lew feel. You know what I'm saying? But niggas asked me that a couple days ago, another situation, and they said, oh, Lew Phil, my real name is Lloyd Eric Magnus. So you switch the M around, becomes a W because I'm winning. And I'm from Philadelphia, so you got Lew Phil.
Alright, so what made you want to start rapping to begin with? We want to take them all back from the beginning. Like, you one of the most known lyricists from Philly. Like, people know you as a lyricist. So man, why you want to
came up? Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, everybody know my story. Like, I came up in this. You know, man, I was born in the 70s, 77. So the 80s, 90s, hip hop was like what really inspired me to rap. So anybody that came out during that time span is just like, the range is crazy. We talking about from all the way from like Kane, Cool G Rap, LL, Run DMC, all the way up to the Biggies, the Tupacs, the J's, the Nasses. Like, we came through that whole joint from the Onyx, the Wu-Tangs, the Dre's, the Corrupts, the Dazzers, the Dog Pedal, like all these. I've had the chance to experience all these genres of music and watch it go from hardcore hip hop to gangster to conscious and pro-black and trap, crunk, everything. So a lot of people was my influences, and I really just start. I really inspired to really sit down and write my own rap at the age of 14 because a lot of people from the city was getting a lot of attention, like the youngsters. You know what I'm saying? That was a group from Philly, and they was like from the hood, so there was a lot of acts that was coming out of Philly that was relatable. You know what I'm saying? The Roots, 3 Times Dope, Steady B, Cool C, Hilltop Hustlers. You know what I'm saying? Tough Crew. So Philly always been right there with everything. It's from boxing to basketball to rapping to DJing to breakdancing to graffiti bombing, everything. Like, we always was there. So we was always in the competition. And it's like this trifecta. It's like Philly, Jersey, New York, Detroit, Chicago, like that. Like, we all kind of like eat Timbs and hoodies in the winter and shit like that. You feel me? So it's like I grew up in that era. So that's where my style of hip hop come from, because I grew up in those era when niggas was wearing the Timbs and the Carhartt whole one-piece jumpers and shit like that. And you know what I mean? Niggas was baggy clothes and niggas did throwbacks and then niggas did button-ups and shit like that. So I come from that era. So that's what inspired me to rap. At the age of 14, I think it was like 1992, 93.
Right. So I first heard of you, you know, it was on a Major Figures mixtape. I forget exactly which one it was, but you know, when they was dropping them Jones back in the day, you know, them Jones was in demand at that time. So, you know, at the time they was dropping the mixtapes, they was having, on this particular mixtape, a couple of different artists that wasn't a part of Major Figures featured on the mixtape.
Right.
I mean, like, had a little Spittage on there, RP Spittage. And I heard the joint with Ness on there, sleep with the fish if you reach for it. So speak on that, like the impact of that being on one of them mixtapes.
I had caught a drug charge in 97. And then in 99, you know what I'm saying, I got booked from 11 to 23 in the county. So I already had established a relationship with Black Key, which was a producer that grew up in the same neighborhood. He was from Bartram Village. In that time span, he had met Hip Dog, which was from Yonkers, which was good friends with Mary J. Blige, DMX, the Locks, and artists of that neighborhood. So I was already really running around going to New York and fucking with niggas up there and seeing Kissing all on the block and going to go fuck with X. And you know what I'm saying? I was already familiar with New York way before I made the band. So I had caught that charge and came home in 98. Came home in 2000, and Black Key was doing beats for everybody from Beans to Major Figures, anybody from Philly that was popping. Like Black Key was doing tracks and he was getting placements on niggas' albums. So like that connection was right there. So he was cool with Ad Lava, and you know what I'm saying. They was put out a mixtape, him, Mark Graham. Them shouts out to Marcus Graham. You know what I mean? They was putting out the mixtape Bootleggers, some shit called Bootleggers Volume 2, some shit. And me and Spinach, rest in peace, Little Spinach. Ad Lava brought Young Spinach, and Ad Lava brought me, and Spade brought Young Spinach. So that's how we got on that on that Major Figures joint. I was fresh out of the county jail. It was like I had did a whole like 11 months or some goofy shit, came straight. Black Key was already popping with the beats. He had connections in New York. He already had placements on X. He did the when the Great Depression album, he did We Right Here for X. He did a lot of Kid shit, a lot of Ludacris shit. So he already had his name popping. So the situation was, I signed to his production deal because his lawyer at the time was Ed Woods, who was a popular lawyer at the time in New York, was closing a lot of record deals for a lot of artists. So, you know what I'm saying, just my affiliation with that, you know what I mean, that's how people know me. And they was like, oh, damn, the boy Ness from that year. So it was like a word of mouth thing. This is before Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any of that social media. You had to really be nice, and the word of mouth got around, and nigga, your name started coming up when niggas was talking about rap. So that was kind of like the culture back then.
Right. And yeah. And people know you know, over the years of your career, like as a battle boy, like you had a lot of battles, a lot of classic battles. One classic Philly battle you had was the battle you did with Hollow.
Yeah, that's like that's just like classic as it get. That's right up there with me and the J Mills joint, because we did it on a bigger plateau for the MTV cameras. But the impact that the me and Hollow joint, oh my God, it was like a trickle effect. And me and Hollow talk about this right now. It was like we never thought that one moment would be so celebrated in hip hop in Philly. And just not in Philly, because that DVD, when the footage came out, a lot of people saw that joint. So, and people don't understand, like they don't know, looking at it they don't know, but me and Hollow wasn't really supposed to battle. I just was popping my grease to another dude that was fresh, and then, you know, they slid Hollow in there and they screamed Paper Chasing, and then it was on, and he spit his jaw, and energy was crazy. Then it was like he was directed to me, and I just had to come back with my shit. So the energy was real crazy. Then it was like a who's who was in the building. It was Freeway, Miss J, Cousin E, Jamal Hill, the nigga that did Money, Power, Respect, Tim, Ace, Bugsy, all them niggas, like PD Crack. It was like everybody, Cree Forge, Cash Dollars, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It was just like a who's who in there, and it just was like niggas came there to spit. Ice City was in there, Paper Chase was in there, I was in there on some YHM shit. Like, it was in there, man. That shit was epic. And me and Hollow going back and forth, like the DVD that Tim Ace put out, I forgot it was called New Jack City or some shit like that, but most of the niggas was watching at the end for the battle, for me and Hollow battle. So like, it was real controversial. A lot of people say he won in that last three. I mean, 3Ks, like, I hate niggas. Like, it's just a controversial battle. You know what I'm saying? And the way it ended and the way it went, and me and Hollow talk about this all the time, and I just was happy to be a part of it.
Right. And it was on the type of time where y'all never had no issues about it. Like, y'all always was cool. Y'all did music together after that and everything. Like, it's always all love.
Unlike battle rappers now, when you get to prepare, like, battle rap was way different then. It's just you came with your material. And at the time, his material was sharp, and my material was sharp. I'm coming straight off the band and up there fucking with Puff and having that opportunity to make a group on a label that I've been sitting there admiring and being a fan for years, with the Biggie and the Lots and all that, just being able to sit there and become a part of something that's already historical. So coming off that, my confidence is through the roof. And, you know, Philly, we just breed spitters, and that's the energy that Hollow was coming off of. He was confident, and he came into it with his shit, got his shit off, I got my shit off, and that's like one of the most talked about Philly battles ever. Like, you know, man, it's right up there.
Right. And word on the street was y'all had some talks about doing another one. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, man. We talked about it, and we want to just leave it how it is, and just let that be out there. You know what I mean? But I wanted to do it, and Hollow, he wanted to do it, but just our timing was off, and you know what I'm saying? We just couldn't do it. So, but it's still in the air, man. Niggas ain't dead. If the people want to see it, and then we start tweeting and get on social media and really like put up a poll or debate about it, bring it right back, and niggas jump into it, put some money in it, we can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. It's like sparring with my brother, like, you know what I mean?
All right. Let's get to the band thing, because you had touched on that a little bit. Like, what made you decide to go for that opportunity to begin with? Like, they put the word out they looking for. So what made you decide? Because you could have easily, shrugged that off and like, nah, I'm cool on that. What made you decide, like, yo, I'm going to take this opportunity. I think I can do it.
Man, I was ready to give up. I had put out mixtapes. I didn't have met X, and he was supposed to be putting out the Bloodline, a lot of artists on the Bloodline label. And I was up there messing with X, and Timbaland was messing with Miss J, which was managed by my homie Man, Southwest. He was managing Miss J, he was managing Roscoe P. Chain. Roscoe P. Chain had built an alliance with Ad Lava, so it was like all kind of like 6 degrees of separation, and the way it came together, it just was out of the blue, because I was already dealing with people that was execs and had labels and had opportunities to put artists on and make a career for themselves. X had a Bloodline situation, and he just never fell through with it. And Timbaland had the Beat Club, which he had put out Miss J. He was putting out Bubba Sparks, so he already had artists. So it was like I just was waiting. I was in X line he had, and then I was waiting on Beat Club to be put in a position, and then in the midst of all that, a competition came, and one of my homies was like, they having a competition downtown for the Making a Band joint. I'm like, Making a Band joint? They're like, man, you should get with Puff. Puff really don't got nobody right now. He really just don't got nobody. Just go down there and move out. For the first time I went down there, it was like the lines was wrapped around the corner. I mean, everybody had their hip hop outfits on. People had makeup on. I really got to see how people really threw it on and tried to really get prepared to go in there and audition for a label that's as big as Bad Boy and a platform as big as MTV. So, being that there was a lot of people, they only gave you 30 seconds to spit. By that time I had got there, they had fell on deaf ears. They had seen over 1,500 people. So I got in there and spit, he turned it off, and that was it. So, I mean, I just planted the seed. And then, for first season, he did the competition in a couple other cities and picked the people that he thought was good enough to make it to the next part of the competition. Then when he got those, he didn't think that he had what he needed to move forward. He did the competition again. So by that time, he built my alliance with Miss J, going up on the radio, 103.9 and spit. I had made friends with Jay Black, which was the program director. So Jay Black was one of the executives that was from 103.9 that was getting with MTV and getting with Bad Boy to do the MTV thing. So basically, MTV was being promoted on 103.9, and Jay Black gave me the call, like, they doing another audition for the Making a Band. I think you need to give it another shot. Me going down there already discouraged, because the first time it was a lot of people and I really didn't get a chance to showcase my talent. Went down there again, spit. They gave me a little bit more time. Instead of 30 seconds, they actually let me spit for like a minute long. So that was a good thing in my mind. Like, that was positive. So as I was leaving, they came back and got me. It was like, yo, they liked you. They put you on a callback list to go audition for Diddy in a few weeks. So I went up there and signed the paperwork, waiting for them to call me back. So it was like a week or so went by, and I had been up there. I was burnt out. I had tried every outlet. I was opening up for F.A.M.E. I was opening up for whatever big act came to town through my relationship with Black Key, because he was already on with the beats. So by that time, I just was about to give up, and then I got the phone call. When I got the phone call, I was in New York, PA. My cousin had just bought a crib out there. So we bullshitted. My cousin called me, DC called me. He was like, yeah, they just called me back and said, we got an audition for Puff, 11:30. So I'm getting a call at 10:30. I'm in New York, PA, which is like 2.5 hours all the way away from New York. So I sat there for like another 3 hours and debated whether or not to go. Shout out to my cousin Brahim, man. He just was like, man, you need to go, man. I'll take you. So we left at like 2:30. So mind you, I mean, supposed to have been there for the audition at 11:30. We leaving from New York, PA, to get to New York at 2:30 in the evening. So we get there, man. It's about like 6:30, man. All the traffic and shit like that. And I just got out the car, told my cousin to go park up, and the line was wrapped around the corner. I knocked on the door, told him my name. Told them I was one of the callbacks from Philly. They looked at the little sheet that they had, and they pulled me straight from the street into the line to go audition for Puff. So with that anxiety and my heart pumping, I'm trying to get the rhyming I'm going to say. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go with the same rhyme that I spit in audition in Philly, because I don't know if they remembering how many rhymes I got, if I'm spitting on one rhyme, or if they judging me if I only got that one rhyme and don't got material. So my heart pumping. So I go in there, they ask me, yeah, say your name and where you from. I'm like, I'm from Ness, I'm from Southwest Philly, I'm representing Southwest Philly. They was like, all right, go ahead and spit. They put on one of the Bad Boy beats. I think it was Special Delivery. I'm not too sure, but it was like a Bad Boy beat. And I mean, I start ripping, and like midway into my rhyme, I miscalculated the stage and fell into a bunch of fucking equipment in front of all
Oh shit.
I was embarrassed like a motherfucker, man. Like you couldn't, the way I felt in my heart was like I'd get all the way up here and fall in front of Puff, Craig Mack, the whole Bad Boy staff. His mom was there. All the record executives was there, all the writers, all the motherfuckers in the MTV staff, the cameras, and I falls. I mean, bust my ass into a bunch of fucking equipment. Like a keyboard, a drum set, a guitar stand, a mic stand. Like I really fell, and all this shit made big noise. I'm like, oh my God. So I gotta be like, man, you alright? I'm like, I was tight. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm good. They was like, alright, continue. I just spit, but I mean, whatever rhyme came in my head, I spit that one, and then went back into the line, and just feeling like I fucked up. Like I get all the way up here and I fall. Definitely know they're not gonna pick me. Motherfucker that can't even control his own motor skills on stage. So, you know what I mean? Make a long story short, I'm sitting there sweating it out, and they called me like next to last. They called 30 niggas to be selected to go into the boot camp. A phase of a competition, and you know what I mean. They called Rain Man because Rain Man was up there, and my man Shiz Lansky, part of the Larceny family, him and Cass. So these was two niggas that was already like kind of on an underground circuit, already making music, and they was in the making a band competition. So I was like, if they had and they already doing anything, like shit, fuck it, I might as well get my crack at it. So. I mean, even though I had fell and I thought that they wouldn't pick me, my material was that good enough where they picked me. Even though I bust my ass and they picked me like next to last, they made me sweat it out. And after I got into the boot camp phase of it, that was easy. Went through that, but really niggas don't know. Like that competition was like a real competition. We had to write 2,500 word essays on what it takes to make it in the business game. And we had to do workout from 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and the next check-in time would be 12 o'clock. So about 12 o'clock, we would have to have a 2,500 word essay on what it takes to make it in the music business. So I had niggas coming up from Philly, everywhere. Like, man, I was actually telling them what to write, and they was writing this shit down. And then after they would write this shit down that I was telling them, I would have to write this shit in my handwriting. And we was doing this in an hour and a half. Until the next time we had to check in. So like niggas don't know how crazy and how and everybody talk about, oh man, the cheesecake shit. The shit they was trying to make us do was just off the hook. So when niggas talking about, yeah man, that nigga walk for cheesecake, that shit was like Making the Band was the first black reality show. Niggas don't know. They didn't know what they was doing. It was uncharted territory. Like they just was winging it. So when niggas talk about go for cheesecake, it's just because he didn't have nothing else for us to do.
What did you do yesterday? You don't even see New York. You know what I mean? You don't even see the city, really. I need that vehicle. Yeah. I told you it was going to be rough this weekend. I want to get a vehicle home, possibly. You could probably, I'm starving too. You know something? I want me a piece of cheesecake. So you know where to get the cheesecake started at, yeah. And you also walk from there, get the cheesecake, see the city, enjoy the sights, would you? Show them around. Look at over the Brooklyn Bridge, let that road hit off the water. See how y'all feel as a group.
There was no storyline, it wasn't scripted, it just was like, shit, they gotta give me some time. Why don't y'all just go walk and stretch our legs out and give me some time? Because we went in there thinking that we was on with Bad Boy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, and then it was automatically, we went right into the studio recording the album. But they took us through boot camp and all of cheesecake and shit, and people see it as really like hazing. When you in the college, when you try and get in a fraternity, they haze you. If you watch the movie School Days, there's a lot of hazing in there. So that's why we was real big with the college community, because they was like, oh yeah, they being hazed. We being hazed every day. And they was like, oh man, I wouldn't have walked for the cheesecake. I wouldn't have walked for the cheesecake. But people get up 365 days of their life to work a job that they don't want to work to because they got responsibilities and they got to keep the lights on and they got to feed the kids and take care of their children and pay their bills. So niggas walk for cheesecake 365 days a year. I only walk for cheesecake once, but I get grounded up the most about it. Motherfuckers get up 6 o'clock in the morning, you do a 2-hour commute to a fucked up job when your benefits don't kick into 2-3 years after. That's walking for cheesecake. You work for UPS and you stacking boxes and shit like that. You gotta get up 6:30 in the morning. You only getting $100 at the end of the week. That's walking for cheesecake. When you hustling for a motherfucker and you gotta turn that money back in and you ain't and you ain't able, that's walking for cheesecake. So I mean, I really laugh at it because niggas like, oh man, I wouldn't have did that, but y'all niggas do it all the time, every day in y'all lives, and y'all just don't know it.
And that's crazy that you say that, because not that part. I'm talking about the that being the first black reality show. Mm-hmm. Because you see how many reality shows it is now. Like you see, like TV is reality shows now.
Basically, the momentum that we had, and niggas didn't know where it was going. They just put it. The camera start rolling, and Puff, his idea was what he wanted the world to capture, what it really takes to make it in the music business, and what you really gotta go through, the do's and don'ts, the ins and outs. Sometimes you gotta do a lot of shit that you don't wanna do, and motherfuckers don't know that, right? And all the backdoor meetings and all the handshakes and shit like that, and all the favor for favor, it's really politics. It's really politics when it comes down to it. It's really politics.
Alright. And yeah, you had touched on the J Mills battle earlier. I mean, that was definitely, early on battle on MTV. I mean, a real raw street type of battle on TV. Yeah.
Basically,